Hello, everybody. Intuition here. Thank you so much for making some time and space for us. Today, we're talking about something that we've talked about quite a few times before, but we've been hearing it a lot today, and we feel as though it would be very important to rehash the old, beat dead horses. So, what it is that we're talking about today is the idea of trust. The idea of not trusting anybody. We've said it before and we'll say it again. Don't trust anyone. Stop trusting people, things that are outside of you. Because here is the dilemma in trust. All trust is the idea that, I see you over there, and you look like you are leading yourself better than how I am leading myself over here. And because of that, I'm going to trust you to do what it is that you're doing for you to do for me. And here is the problem with that. The problem with that is tenfold, but we'll start with number one. The problem with that is that the person over there has different needs, different experiences, a different personality filter and lens. And so therefore, that person over there, if they are lucky enough to even know themselves, that person over there only knows how to get their needs met, and probably not even fully. It's probably haphazardly that they're able to get their needs met, but nevertheless, they're able to get their needs met because that is their needs, and it has taken them their whole life to figure out how it is that they can't even get their needs met. But again, they figured out something, and therefore, because they're able to get their needs met, maybe it seems like in a better way than you say, wow, look at that. You could get your needs met, and therefore I want you to do what it is that you're doing for you, for me. And the problem is that, again, their needs are their needs, and your needs are your needs. You do not have the same needs as somebody else. Your needs are inherently specific, unique, and special to you. So for you to think that you have the same needs, and therefore that they could meet your needs better than better than you could meet your needs, is completely delusional. Because most of you don't even know what it is that you need to begin with. So the idea that somebody else could meet your very elusive needs that you don't even know about yourself half the time is crazy. So that's problem number one. This idea that somebody could meet my needs better than I could meet my needs when I don't even know what my needs are, and they probably don't even know what their needs are, but yet it looks like they know what their needs are and they're meeting them, and so therefore they could meet my needs better than I can meet my needs. It's just the blind leading the blind, leading the blind, leading the blind. So that's problem number one. Nobody's going to meet your needs better than you can meet your needs, because your needs are yours alone, and you are the only one that knows what your needs are. If my need is to feel important, and their need is to look a certain way, then when I'm putting my need of needing to feel important, and the only way that they get their needs met is by looking a certain way, and they're telling me then, therefore, how to get what it is that I want, but that's through the lens of looking a certain way, when again, I need to feel important, then that's not going to lead me to where it is that I believe I want to be led to. Because again, I'm only going to be led to how to look a certain way, as opposed to what it is that I'm needing, which is to feel important. And so therefore, I'm going to get upset. Because when I listen to what it is that other person is saying through the lens of looking a certain way, and they tell me what to do, and then I do it, and my car ends up in a ditch because I was going through their guidance, through their personality filter of how to look a certain way, as opposed to what it is that I'm needing, which is to feel important, then when my car goes into a ditch, I'm going to say, well, screw them. I can't believe they led me into this ditch. How malicious of them. I can't believe it. Damn it all to hell. And that doesn't allow you the space that if you had made that decision on your own and then you fell into a ditch, you'd be like, oh my goodness, why am I in a ditch? How could I not lend myself into a ditch again? But because you're allowing somebody else to inform you, because you're putting your trust in somebody else to tell you and lead you better than you could lead you, and then you do it from their lens and end up in a ditch, you don't get to ask yourself, well, how can I not end up in a ditch next time? You immediately go into a judgment energy and say, well, screw them. How could they put me in this place? That's why we don't trust anyone. which at least you're getting to a good point, that you shouldn't be trusting anybody to begin with, but still you just wasted time in having a negative experience that you're not even learning from to begin with, because you're not taking any accountability for you ending up in a ditch, because it is you at the end of the day that put your trust in something that you shouldn't have put your trust in to begin with, or should have. It's not for us to say should or shouldn't, but again, if you're upset that you ended up in a ditch, then should you have put your trust in something that is not you? Or should you have just trusted that you're going to lead yourself somewhere? And even if it is not your preference, you still get to learn from that experience, as opposed to saying, well, screw that person, they had malicious intent, and then you miss the experience, you miss the lesson, and you're 10 steps further away from anything, including understanding yourself and understanding why you ended up in that situation to begin with. So that is one of the 10-fold reasons why it could be a little dangerous trusting in people, putting your trust blindly in people. And anytime you put your trust in something, someone that is not you, it is a blind trust. Because again, you do not have the eyes of the other to say, oh my goodness, the way they're leading themselves is through the lens of they need to look a certain way. And the way I lead myself is the way I need to feel important. So to go with their lens is going to land me in a ditch every single time, because that's not what I'm needing to begin with. But that's one of the many reasons. The other reason, as we've talked about before, is the idea that nobody knows who they are to begin with. Now, if you're putting your trust in somebody who knows who they are, then that's one thing. But it is very rare to find somebody who knows who they really are, fully and truly. And just to know who you are does not mean you know everything about yourself, and therefore you stop expanding and you stop growing and you're the ideal image of perfection. To know yourself simply means that I'm continuing to grow, and I'm not the identification or over-identification of the personality filter. I'm so much more than that, which allows me to continue to know myself and ever expand and ever grow. But many people, because they are so over-identified with everything outside of themselves other than themselves, they don't know themselves. They don't have an opportunity to know themselves. They don't even know what they're looking at half the time. They look in the mirror and they don't even know who the heck they are, because they're simply looking through the lens of the personality. So it'd be one thing if you're putting your trust in an individual, a thing that knows what it is that they are. But many people have no idea what the hell they are or who the hell they are. So you're putting your trust in something that is not completely full, thinking, again, that they're going to lead you farther, better than where it is that you're going to lead yourself. And if they don't even know themselves, they barely even trust themselves, because they're probably doing the same thing as you are, putting their trust in everything else other than themselves, then why do you think that they're going to lead you any farther than you leading you? Because they don't even know themselves, they don't even know what they want, they don't even know what their needs are, so what exactly are you putting your trust in? A ghost? Because that's what most people are walking around. You all are so afraid of ghosts, big scary ghosties. But you all are ghosts, because you guys are walking around completely empty, because you don't know who the hell you are to begin with. And that is really what a ghost is. They have forgotten who they are. Sounds very, very similar and familiar to what it is that we experience each and every day, isn't it? So you're putting your trust in a ghost. And ghosts are very elusive. They're not really based in anything. You put something in their hand and it completely falls through their hand. And that is exactly what happens with trust. We put ourselves, our trust in somebody else's hand, and it falls through, it falls short. Because you're putting your trust, you're putting yourself in the hands of something that cannot hold you. You hold you. You are the only thing that can hold you. So hold you. Hold yourself with love. Stop giving yourself away in many forms, but we're talking about trust right now. Stop giving yourself away in the illusion of trust and trusting somebody else, because you will always be disappointed, because again, they don't know what your needs are. And even if you tell them what your needs are, they still won't know what your needs are, because most of us don't know implicitly all it is that we need to know about our needs, so we can only tell them half of the story of what it is that we think that we need. So when they try and meet us through the communication of what it is that I think I need, and they try and reciprocate that through their actions, they still fall short, because I don't even know what the hell I need. And I was communicating to you in half a conscious awareness of what it is that I think that I need. And that has limited us to actually get the full result of what it is that I'm really needing. So that's another reason as to why it could be a little sketchy putting your trust in a ghost, because they don't know themselves. So therefore, how far do you think you're really going to go putting your trust in something else? So the thing is, I just said, don't trust anybody. So what does that mean? You're going to run around every corner being paranoid and scared and saying, I can't trust this, I can't trust that. Life is a big, scary mess. No, no, no. It is more simply the idea that all you have to do is trust in you. When you start putting your trust in the only thing that is meaningful, the only thing that is real, which is you, the only person that knows what it is that their needs are, which is you, when you start putting your trust in yourself, you will go farther than you ever could have thought you could go, because you're not putting your trust in something that is not you, and therefore they don't know how to meet your needs, and therefore they will only give you half of what it is that you're maybe needing, if they even can give you half. When you start putting your trust in yourself, even if you go into a direction that is not your preference, even if you lead yourself still into that ditch, you still can be accountable and say, well, it wasn't Jojo who led me into the ditch, it's me who led me into a ditch. So how did I lead myself into a ditch? So I don't maybe have to do this again. And in the very least, if I do it again, at least it's me doing it to myself, than Jojo doing it to me. And when I start trusting in myself, I inherently start knowing myself more. And when I start knowing myself more, I inherently start trusting everyone else, because I know I'm not going to put myself in a bad, negative situation that is going to cause harm to me, that is going to cause me to feel unsafe, because I trust myself and I know myself better than to lead myself into a sketchy, scary situation that I don't need to experience, because that's not based in my needs. I know what my needs are, and I trust that I'm going to get them met. Me, myself. Now, that doesn't mean I don't ask for help. That doesn't mean now I'm the lone survivor, and I'm alone, and I can't trust anything. It just simply means that I trust myself. I could still ask for help. And if I ask for help, I trust in myself that even if they aren't going to be able to help me in the way that I'm needing, I'm still going to get what it is that I need, because I trust I'm going to get my needs met always. Always. All directions, always, every time, even if it's not in my preference. So, you know you better than you. You know you better than anyone else, because you're you. If somebody else was you, then they'd know you better than you. But that's not the case. You're living in your body. Your body. You're creating your experience. Your experience. You have your eyes. Your eyes. That means that you have your own lens. Your own lens. It's that idea that's saying that 10 people could see the same car accident, but every one of those people sees a different aspect of the accident, so it's almost like it was a different accident. And it's the same idea. So what accident are you seeing? How could you take accountability for that accident? How could you trust that you're not going to get into that accident again? Because first of all, you're not being led down the wrong path, and the wrong path is anytime you're putting your trust in somebody else and thinking that they're going to lead you in a better direction than your own direction. And knowing inherently that you're going to get your needs met, even if it doesn't look like it, because you're going to figure it out. Because nobody else is going to figure it out for you. And that's not a negative thing, that's not a scary thing, that's the most exciting thing, because that puts you back in the powerhouse of the seat of consciousness. That puts you back in the powerhouse of the God force that you are. Because again, I've said it a million times. I'm tired of saying it, I'm sure you're tired of hearing it. The world does not exist, and therefore you exist. This world exists because you put it here. You made this. You made this shit. If you want to identify it as shit, it is shit. If you want to identify it as a dream come true, then it is a dream come true. But whatever you identify, take accountability. You made it. Now, you did not make it completely. There were 7 other universal principalities that helped you to make it. But regardless, be accountable for what you created. Be accountable for where you're putting your trust in. Be accountable for what it is that you know about yourself and know to be true. It is only when you stop trusting yourself and putting your trust in other things that aren't you that you get led down very scary paths. And for many of you, you will say, well, I don't know if I could trust myself, because when I've trusted myself before, I went down a scary path. But we challenge you on that. Were you really trusting yourself, or were you trusting what somebody else told you should do? Was there another voice inside of you when somebody is saying you should do this that said, maybe I shouldn't? Maybe I should be doing this instead. This seems more resonant with what it is that is in concert with the knowing of what it is that I am, as opposed to what JoJo's saying, whose knowing is in concert with who it is that they are. Because again, if that is the case, then you really have never trusted yourself, and you have really never led yourself anywhere. You've been led like a dog on a leash with somebody else's lens guiding you. And that only takes you so far. Just like a dog on a leash, they cannot really go as far as they'd like to go. They keep on getting choked back. And when you put your trust in something, someone else other than you keep on getting choked back on the lead of the leash, because it's not leading you where it is that you want to go. So take that leash off. You have hands and you have thumbs, unlike the dog. So take it off. Unleash the leash. Unleash the collar. Move into the trust of all it is that you are, the knowing of all it is that you are, and you might be surprised at how far you go. But you will continue to run yourself into circles and circles and circles and circles if you keep on putting your trust in everybody else except yourself. But as always, who are we to tell you, another God force, what to do or what not to do? But as long as you're making a choice, then that is far better than where it is that you might have been before. Because at least if you're choosing to put your trust in somebody else other than you, then you are choosing. That's a choice, which means you still chose to do something else. But if you don't have a choice, then you are a slave, because you are forced to have to do something over and over and over again, and you don't see another opportunity, another way for you to try and achieve what it is that you're trying to achieve in a more meaningful way. So as long as you have a choice today in trusting someone else or trusting yourself, then thank God, thank you that you made a choice. In whatever choice you choose, as long as you're making a choice, then there's nothing wrong with the choice that you're making. But there is something wrong thinking that there's only one way, and therefore that is the only way, and therefore it keeps on leading you in circles and leading you into more madness and leading you farther away from all it is that you are. So we trust in you, even if you don't trust in you, to make the right decision for yourself, because you know you better than we know you. We could only disseminate what it is that we know to our fellow gods, and know that you're going to take that information, take that knowing, and do something profound and beautiful with it, even if it's the same thing that you've been doing. Trusting in other people, at least again, it's based in a choice and not the illusion of having to do something. We will leave you with that. We trust that that is enough. As always, thank you for making space and time for us, and we wish you well in all the things and all the choices that you're making for yourself.